Hello, everyone. Okay, so this is our course syllabus. I just want to note a few things about this, kind of walk through it, and explain certain policies that are very important for you all to acknowledge. So first of all, this top information here, this is Intro to Philosophy, summer term 2021. I note that I have two emails here. I have a Pearl River Community College email, and I have a Binghamton University email as well. Given that Binghamton University is my primary institution, I will check that more often. And I'll get a notification onto my phone. Now, if you send me to the Pearl River email, that's absolutely fine, and I'll get back to you very soon. But you'll get my attention a little bit more quickly if you send it to the Binghamton email. Okay, so about this course, this is mainly a survey of the history of philosophy. And we're going to be covering, or at least we're going to be balancing a lot of content with a lot of critical thinking stuff. So you're going to be doing discussions and writing reflection papers that require you to reconstruct content. So you have to be able to understand what we learn. And then it asks you to evaluate that content. And that means that you disagree with it. You show why it's wrong. You give an argument for thinking that it's not quite right, or you give an argument for thinking that it is right, and you explain why you agree. So this is a hybrid between understanding content as well as evaluating that content. So for our required texts, we're going to be looking at Gardner's Sophie's World. And this is a novel. You should have this either in a physical copy or on, I think it's Red Pages or whatever the online ebook source is. So you can get this as an ebook or a physical book. I think it's pretty reasonably priced either way. And in addition to Sophie's World, we're also going to be looking at several PDFs. So I've tried to make it where at least once a week, we're going to be reading a primary text that will be kind of difficult. So, so most of the time we're going to be reading the Sophie's World, and then occasionally we're going to be reading a primary text. So we're going to look at least a primary text from Aristotle, primary text from Plato, a primary text from Immanuel Kant, and then a few others as well. And so those readings will have their own special lectures, and it's just good to get some primary material as well. But most of the information we cover will be in the course textbook, Sophie's World. If you are interested in any historical figure or any concept, you can absolutely find more information about those people and those concepts via the Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy or the Internet Encyclopedia of Philosophy. Okay, so my name is Spencer Atkins. I have completed a master's degree in philosophy at the University of Tennessee at Knoxville. And I'm presently working on a PhD at Binghamton University in New York. My interests include epistemology, social epistemology, environmental ethics, ethical theory, just lots of different things. And if you want to know more about me, if you're curious about your instructor and kind of who's teaching you, you can look at my personal website there. And you can also, if you want to look at some of my published work, you can check out my Phil People page. So if you download my stuff, I'll get more downloads, and that'll look better. So there's a download counter. So anyway, I'm not telling you to do that, but if you want to, that'd be just fine. Okay, so we have various student learning outcomes, and pretty much these things are like at the end of the course, what is it that Pearl River Community College wants you to be able to do or to have? So The first thing is content related. It's being able to identify the contributions of major philosophers, both to philosophy as we know it today, as well as to the history of ideas, which kind of gets us to the various sets of norms that we interact with today and that we believe today. Secondly, it's to distinguish major subdisciplines in philosophy. So area related things. So for instance, epistemology, metaphysics, social, political philosophy, logic, ethics, all of these different areas of philosophy, you need to be able to, by the end of this course, identify what these words mean, what are the kinds of questions that figures in those areas are trying to answer, right? And so we'll get to that. I know that these might sound a little bit intimidating at the moment, but you'll definitely get there. And then finally, apply a knowledge of philosophy to selected issues. So occasionally I might ask you to say, look at a case, right? Or think about what a philosopher might say about a current event, right? And so the goal here is to get you thinking creatively about the course material in a way in which you apply it to some current thing. Okay, and I don't believe that this class has any prerequisites. Okay, so course requirements. This is the most important stuff. So this class is pretty balanced between exams and quizzes and writing. So every week you will have, let's look first at reflection papers. Every week you're going to have a reflection paper. There's a 1 to 2 page paper in which you address a prompt. And there's a rubric. It's available on each page where you can, on each assignment, right? And I'll use that rubric to assess your paper. Okay. Next, we have, in terms of writing, we have discussion and participation. So essentially, you're going to have, every week, you'll have 1 or 2 discussion topics, and then you'll write 100 or around 150 to 250 words. I think that's the range. I'm not 100% sure what the range is. And then you'll respond to other classmates, right? So the idea is to just be like, look, this is what I liked about your post. Look, this is what I disagree with in your post. Look, have you thought about this, right? It's just to kind of facilitate this kind of group learning, right? Okay. So between reflection papers and discussion posts, that is 35% of your grade. And that is all of the writing that you'll do for this course. You will have a midterm exam that covers the first 4 weeks of the class. And then you'll also have weekly quizzes. These things are just, pretty straightforward. 10 questions. You'll have 6 minutes to answer all 10 of these questions. They're very kind of simple, matching, true, false, multiple choice, and it'll be a lot of things like terms, right? Just knowing vocabulary terms, being able to identify quotations. So identifying a key concept that's in a quotation and being able to assign it to the author that said it, right? So these are the kinds of questions that you'll be asked to do. And then lastly, we have a final exam that's 30% of the grade. It's also going to be largely multiple choice, true, false matching. Okay, lectures. So all lectures will be available on Canvas. I think that they're all already on there, so you're ready to go pretty quick. And then videos are in the weekly modules, so you'll see those, and you should have found those in the other video, the intro to the course video. So as far as papers go, again, they're 1 to 2 pages. I define a page as about 300 words. So they should be 300 to 600 words. Be sure to answer the prompt in its entirety, right? So some of the prompts are a little bit big, so you'll have to do a few different things in the paper. And so be sure that you address the entire prompt. That's one of the ways in which you're evaluated. No outside sources. Just use the Sophie's World text, or you could cite from lecture. Now, any paper that cites more than 20% will be penalized, right? So it's not like you can quote the whole paper, right? So you should aim, if your paper's 300 words, you shouldn't have any more than 60 words that are quotations, right? So best to kind of keep, like, rein in the quotations, and you do the thinking in the papers. And then, of course, I've said that there's a rubric, and then based on the rubric, these are the criteria that I look for: is accuracy, closeness to the prompt, grammar, reasoning, and clarity, right? So be sure to write very directly, be sure to write very clearly. You'll want to, when you're summarizing what an author has said, you'll want to be sure that you get their views right. You'll want to cover every aspect of the prompt, closeness to the prompt. Be sure and look over for grammar and spelling. And then lastly, be sure that, because some of these papers you're going to be giving an argument for why you agree or disagree. So be sure you explain your reasons for agreeing or disagreeing, say. Okay, so next we have discussion posts. Discussion posts are, I believe, 150 to 250 words, or 100 to 200 words. I forget off the top of my head, but they're right around that range. And so you'll want to be sure to respond to at least two of your peers, right? So you'll be able to write your response, your discussion post, and then you'll respond to other students. And the discussion will open on Sundays, and then they'll end on Saturdays at 11:59. So be sure you get it done within the week, right? So if you say don't get it done by Saturday, you're out of luck, because that's when they close, right? And the discussion will be complete. No extra credit. I don't have official office hours. I've chosen to do that. So you can just email me if you want to meet. I'll send you an office hours link, some kind of Zoom link. And let's see, late policy, pretty much every day that something is late, that's 10 points that gets marked off. After 3 days, the assignment will automatically be a 0, and you won't be able to turn it in. So be sure to get your material, get your reflection papers, all of these things in on time for sure. And note that the quizzes and the exams will only be 1 day late. After, they will not be available for you to take. So be sure to do those on time. So let's see, this course is asynchronous, so there's no attendance. I think that the only attendance will be for just the final exam. I should change the midterm. The midterm will not be proctored, but the final exam will be proctored. Cheating and plagiarism, just don't do it. There are better things for you to do, right? You might as well make a C on a paper, then make a 0 on the paper and fail the class. So for first-time offenses, I'm just going to give a 0, right? I'll leave it to my discretion, right? But most of the time, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a 0 for the assignment that you've plagiarized. And then if you do it again, I'm going to kick you out of the class with an F, right? So you're not going to be able to withdraw. You'll have an F on your transcript, and that'll be a problem. So don't plagiarize. And don't look at each other's computers as you're taking quizzes and exams. I reserve the right to revise this syllabus, right? And then the disability statement, if you have any needs as far as disabilities go, you can contact these people listed in this long paragraph. And then lastly, this is a piece of advice about reading philosophy. It takes a long time to read philosophy, especially read it really carefully. And so 10 pages of high quality philosophical writing might take about an hour, maybe even an hour and a half to read. So budget your time when it comes to reading. Don't just buzz through it really quickly because you're going to miss a lot of stuff. Okay, and then lastly, there's just a breakdown of the semester, how it's going to look, what we're going to do each week. Pretty self-explanatory. And then there's a list of the different assignments that are due for that week, as well as the readings for that week as well. So, like I said, it's all pretty self-explanatory. And then we're also going to be looking at those figures, right? These are our topics. And anyway, let me know if you have any questions about the syllabus. Let me know if you'd like to have a meeting where we can talk if you have questions about the syllabus, or just email me your questions. Thank you all so much.